And now let us welcome one of the youth's influential leaders, Miss Margot Valerie A. Navales. Let us clap our hands.
Ambition, passion, guts, persistence. The four factors to fuel your success. With ambition, we envision ourselves in accordance with our dreams. With passion, we commit to our will to achieve that dream with keen and eagerness. With guts, we risk ourselves in order to grow. Things may not come our way, but along with it is the development essential to success. And finally, with persistence, we do not give up on things we yearn for and be optimistic even in the darkest hours. When we hear of the word success, we suppose that the opposite of that is the word failure. But as a matter of fact, the road to success and the road to failure is actually the same. In fact, you can never define success when you cannot define failure. How would you know when you've succeeded if you cannot contrast it with anything like failure? You can't. All of us has been in that phase of our lives when we've been enclosed to that vision and mindset that we should be fearful of failure. We should avoid failure because it hinders us to reach our goals, and that's where we are now, our youth. We've been told that even with the slightest mishap, our future could be ruined. I cannot put the blame on our elders as they only wish for us to have a better life than them. But if we want to have the best life we could have for ourselves, we should break free and stop being afraid. We should be the ones responsible of our future and be open to changes. As they say, it's better to fail in originality than succeed in imitation. It's better to learn things firsthand than to stick with a given data. I don't mean that we should keep on failing, but we should keep in mind that those mistakes we commit can be innovated and become the vessel into going to our road and path to success. To conquer our problems, the problems we have currently in our lives right now. We should be able to incorporate learning from our mistakes. And that's most probably why you're moving up to another stage in your lives. Opening up another chapter in your book because you broke the stigma of being petrified with the idea of screwing up. The youth is the backbone of the society, and hence, we determine the future of any given society. A lot of people expect great things from us, not only because we have significant roles to play in the society, but also because the fact that the fate of the country lies in our hands. We may be young and innocent at first glance, but we have the potential to do great things. Given the time, we can in this world. We may have great, remarkable, or impactful plans in mind. We can't deny the fact that we are unable to do these yet. Given that we only have the passion and the will that are true enough essential factors for success and the success of our agendas and platforms, but it isn't limited to that. We still lack the financial aspect of planning. That is why we start small. And by that, the first significant role we play in the society is to inspire. Never underestimate the power of inspiring. It is one of the things that get things done. The spark and start of every dream. It is subtle, but encourages a person to strive and reach for his or her limits, to fulfill his or her dreams. As people who inspire, we ourselves should also be able to envision and turn our dreams into reality. As it may seem absurd if you tell people to do so, and yet you can't do it yourselves. Remember, You cannot give what you do not have. The second role we play starts within our communities. We find problems that surround us and solve them. We, young people, are known to be brilliant and innovative, given our age. Starting with our society brings great influence, not only for us, but also for the people who surround us. We may start slowly as we progress, but it is a sure path. One thing to keep in mind is that if we want to be big someday, we should never stop and be discouraged as we progress with every single effort. Our third significant role to play in the society is to be involved and to mobilize others to be involved themselves. It is not enough for one to act alone. In order to change, and to change for good, one must be able to influence the community for the common good of all. Finally, our fourth significant role to play in society is to utilize technology given our era. Given our times, we have different tools to possess. We have yet the most advanced and innovative of all time that has the potential and capacity to hone this world, yielding to things much greater. We, being the experts in this field, we must be able to use this opportunity to mold from our skills with this technology, pioneering to a better community. Being the youth, we should never stop dreaming. We should never stop believing, giving ourselves up to service while establishing our community and reaching our dreams. We are at the peak of our lives. We should do something meaningful out of these years. Because if not us, then who? If not now, then when? If we want to make a difference, we should start from ourselves. Because change starts from within. Age is just an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, then it doesn't matter. A quote from Mark Twain that I'd like you all to remember. Another topic that I'd like to open your minds about is that leadership isn't fashioned with age. They are two different things. Given that we, the youth now, are laxly aware of our social issues like politics, we have the potency to have the greatest leaders of all time. Because we witnessed and experienced the effects of unruly governance. Accurate that what we've experienced isn't as horrible as the people who came before us, but do we have to wait for it to happen in order for us to act up? No. We'd like to end it here. We'd like to start a nation reborn, a nation of freedom and authentic justice. To make way for these, we are the key. We are now the ones responsible to carry out those expectations handed down to us. And may we not let our country down. With that being said, I'd like to point out 3 factors as you advance in another aspect in your life. Becoming the future leaders of our society, our nation, our country, the Republic of the Philippines. First, I'd like to introduce the concept of leadership. Probably, it is one of the most important aspects of life. Above all, leadership has led to the progress of human civilization. Without good leadership, no organization or group can succeed. Furthermore, not everyone has this quality. This is because effective leadership requires certain important characteristics. To conclude, leadership is required in probably every sphere of life. Good leadership is the door to success. In contrast, bad leadership is a guarantee of failure. Consequently, good leaders are what makes the world round. Second, I'd like you to be familiar with responsibility. Responsibility is coextensive with authority. When a superior delegates authority to his subordinate, the latter becomes responsible to the former for the performance of the task and also for proper use of authority. Thus, responsibility is a derivative of authority. Responsibility is absolute and one cannot delegate it. A subordinate to whom his superior assigns a task may himself perform it or may get it done from his own subordinate. But in both cases, he shall only remain responsible to his superior. Third and final one, volunteerism. Volunteering is a great act of kindness. It involves caring, loving, and sharing our time, our heart, and our souls. I believe volunteering makes a person feel empowered because we made someone else's life better or we helped our community in some way. Volunteering also shows that we are generous, compassionate, and good-hearted because we are kind enough to give up a few hours of our time and put it into the community. It is a way of helping others without expecting anything in return. I believe that everyone should give back to the community because volunteering not only makes us feel better as a person, but it also helps the people who really need it. I hope that we can fill in the gaps of the people who came before us and repair the trust of those people afflicted. As it is said by Margaret J. Wheatley, there is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. To wrap this up, let me give you some reminders that you may carry on with you as little souvenirs from this talk. No matter how hard you try to contain your problems, it will always be there. Young minds, young souls, it's pure and untainted. So don't let those uncertainties, insecurities, and doubts creep up into that unflawed part of yourselves. It's a no-no to keep on bottling up those emotions that you know will give you a big wreck on the near future. This might come out cliche, but having a deep talk with someone you know, or maybe not, as long as you'll be able to vent things out, will actually make you ponder that little blemish. This is just a small turn in your life to get back on the right track. There's no need to rush. You get that? There's no need to rush. Everything at its own pace will happen at your own grasp. You're the one who has made this possible. Your persistence, hard work, and patience will never turn their back on you. Don't forget that at the starting line, you should always have your eyes open. Prepare yourself for the things that might come your way. Though this isn't a competition, it's for a completely different thing. Why you should look out for yourself. This talks about your growth and how you will manage to grow yourselves despite the obstacles that you'll be facing. So eyes forward, straight on the path that you have created for your future. Aim high, but don't immediately finish the race. Take your time. Contemplate on the things that you will pass through. Keep the small details important and generate it as a stepping stone for every little achievement. When scars will start to form and malicious thoughts will invade your mind, keep your reliable intentions close to your heart and closer to your souls. Let those who belittle you doubt themselves as you bring yourself closer to the finish line. Those little scars, that'll be a fragment of a memento that you will bear till you accomplish that checklist you have. Never be afraid of what tomorrow might bring to us. Don't be afraid to shed tears and be hurt. Pain is a part of our lives. It won't leave as long as we live. But don't turn it into a bad memory. Rather, make it a reminder that once in your life, you did make sure that you fought hard. You fought for what you believe in. You fought and stood on the right path, even if you were alone. Lastly, it is always up to us in this lifetime, in the next, until infinity crashes with infinities. These are within our hope, our accountability, our matter. If one wants to bloom, always be reminded that a flower started with a bud till it nurtured to become a beautiful manifestation of creation. Congratulations, graduates, and continue forward. Thank you.